Hello, thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad you're here. If you are an old friend, welcome back. And if you are a new friend, welcome in. In this video, I'm going to be doing some baking. Most of my videos to this point have been about sewing, but my other favorite hobby is baking. And I thought I would go through and film myself baking some recipes, maybe doing some regular cooking too, from a church cookbook. This was Broken Bow Church of God cookbook from the 90s. My aunt actually edited this. I remember her doing it on a word processor. This was my mom's cookbook. She is no longer with us, so I got it. And excuse me, cat. You can tell a few things from this cookbook. First of all, it was one of her favorites. Okay, cat. So this was my mother's copy of the cookbook, and you can tell a lot of things from this cookbook. First of all, my mom liked it. She used it a lot. Second of all, my mom was a very messy cook, because this cookbook is very dirty. Third of all, she had grandkids that she loved to cook with, and there are some cookie recipes in here that she made a lot of. There's also her brownie recipe in here, which I'm going to make today. My sister-in-law was very kind, and she scanned this all into the computer. So I'm gonna be making my mom's brownie recipe on this page, and you can tell by how dirty it is that it was a very popular page because it has my mom's brownies and several other cookies. Like I said, she used this recipe book a lot, and she had her grandkids help her to make recipes out of this. So little hands held this recipe book quite a bit. Let me get started making these brownies. It just says Mom's Best Brownies. That's this recipe, and I will type this up and put it in the comments below. Sorry, the description below. First step is spray an 8-inch square baking pan with vegetable cooking spray and set aside. I don't have an 8-inch square, I'm using an 8-inch round. Next step, in a medium bowl, combine flour, cocoa, and salt. Half a cup of flour, half a cup of cocoa powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whisking all the dry ingredients together to get them nice and evenly combined. In a large bowl, whisk together the egg whites, the egg, sugar, applesauce, oil, and vanilla. Basically all of the remaining ingredients unless you're gonna mix in walnuts. Two egg whites. One large egg. Three-quarter cup granulated sugar. Six tablespoons of unsweetened applesauce. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I am whisking these all together. I am just doing this until they are well combined. I am not getting into any like ribbon stage or anything like that. Now it is time to fold in the cocoa powder, flour, salt mixture. It doesn't say where to add the walnuts. I'm gonna go ahead and add them into the cocoa powder and flour. The recipe only calls for a tablespoon of walnuts, and that sounds bogus to me. So I'm adding walnuts until my heart feels like there's enough walnuts. I mean, I don't wanna go crazy with the walnuts, but I want enough walnuts. In goes the dry. Mixing this with a spatula or a rubber scraper, silicone scraper actually, until it's just combined. And this is it's gonna be a very liquidy recipe. But you just wanna combine the batter enough until everything's mixed, but it's not developing any gluten. Basically, it's not getting tough. So that should be good. Okay, I just saw the rest of the recipe is on the next page, and it does say do sprinkle with walnuts. I guess that's why you're supposed to read these recipes all the way through before you start them. But I wanted to mix the walnuts in, so I did. So I'm gonna pour this into the pan and then bake for about 25 minutes until it's done. In it goes, and let's see how it comes out. So while that's baking, I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything up and move the camera back out. Okay, out of the oven. See that? Let's try to test this to make sure it's done. Got my little toothpick. Comes out clean, it's done. So this is my mom's recipe, and she would have served them straight out of the oven, not waiting. So that's what I'm gonna do. I can remember standing by her side waiting for her to pull brownies out of the oven so I can eat them immediately. I'm going with a fairly small one. Actually, let me do 2 small ones. They're very tender and like kind of fudgy. These are amazing. So I'm just gonna pour some milk with them. I would have always had these with a glass of milk. All right, time to dig in. I'm just gonna serve these with a little bit of butter on them. My mom always put margarine on top. She used Blue Bonnet sticks of margarine. She always bought the sticks. I don't know why she preferred margarine, but she did. She always thought that butter was super unhealthy for you and that margarine was better. I always prefer butter just because it tastes better, and I was under the impression that at least it's natural, and I don't know what sort of processing and stuff they do to margarine to make it. But my mom was always a big proponent of margarine over butter. If you have to choose one, she would choose margarine. Also, milk. My mother was a big fan of milk. She thought you needed to drink milk all the time to be healthy. It's just a very old school way of thinking of things. So let's dig into these. Yeah, very good, nice and chocolatey. There's not like a fine crumb to it like a cake. It's definitely the fudgy brownie. It is in the neighborhood of fudginess without being gooey or like overly chocolatey. I would probably double the salt in it though. I am not getting enough saltiness. I would just like a little bit more saltiness with my chocolate. But other than that, it's super tasty. It's exactly what I always remember my mom's brownies tasting like. And like I said, I will put this recipe in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this video, please give it a like and let me know. And please let me know if you would like to see more of these videos where I go through the church cookbook and cook not just my mom's old recipes, because there are a lot of them in that cookbook, but other, church cookbook recipes from Oklahoma. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already, please consider subscribing, and I hope you will come back for my next video. I don't know what it's going to be at this point. Right now I am in the middle of sewing a Star Wars costume, so that video should probably come after this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future. It's a good brownie. Man, I missed these. I didn't even realize I missed them. It's like nostalgia on a plate.